And welcome back to Never Not Ask with me, John Martin. And we have another station review. Last week, I was at one of the oldest stations on the network with nearly 200 years of history. Today, my station has been around for just over 30. We're back in the West Midlands for the West Midlands Railway run station of Smethwick Galton Bridge. The station sits on the A457 Albury Road. Smethwick is towards the south. West Bromwich is to the north, Albury to the west, and Handsworth to the east. Birmingham city centre is southeast of here. This station is an interchange between two lines. One is the Snow Hill lines. It sits between Langley Green, just over 1.5 miles to the west, and Hawthorns, 3/4 of a mile to the east. The other is the Stour Valley line out of Birmingham New Street, a loop of the West Coast Main Line. Sandwell and Dudley Station is 1.25 miles to the north. Smethwick Wolf Street is about 3/4 of a mile to the southeast. We are just under 4 miles from New Street Station. The station itself is relatively modern, opening on the 24th of September 1995. However, the railway lines it serves date back to the Great Railway boom in the 19th century when rival companies competed to build routes across the Black Country and Birmingham. Two companies particularly important in shaping the area, the Great Western Railway, known as the GWR, and the London North Western Railway, or LNWR. The Great Western operated the route that would later become the Birmingham Snow Hill lines, while the London North Western controlled the busy Stour Valley line between Birmingham and Wolverhampton. These two railways cross each other near Smethwick on different levels, creating the ideal location for the future interchange. Long before Galton Bridge Station existed, passengers used the nearby Smethwick West Station. This was opened on the 1st of April 1867 at Smethwick Junction and built by the Great Western Railway. It's still on the Great Western route between Birmingham and Stourbridge. In 1956, under the nationalised railway system overseen by British Transport Commission, this station was renamed Smethwick West. 20th century brought major changes to Britain's railways. Following the nationalisation of the railway network in 1948, the former Great Western and LNWR lines became part of British Railways. During the 1960s and 70s, many routes were reduced or closed as part of a nationwide programme of railway rationalisation. In 1972, the line between Birmingham Snow Hill and Smethwick West was closed to regular traffic services. Most services were diverted into Birmingham New Street instead, and the Snow Hill route fell into decline. The fortunes of the line began to change during the 1980s and 1990s. Local authorities and transport planners recognised the value of restoring the Snow Hill route as part of a wider effort to improve rail connections across the West Midlands. Organisations, including British Rail and the Regional Transport Authority Central, promoted the opening of the line. Their vision became known as the Jewellery Line Project, a £28.5 million scheme that would reconnect Birmingham Snow Hill with Smethwick and beyond. As part of this project, plans decided not to reopen the old Smethwick West Station. Instead, they built a completely new interchange station at the point where the Snow Hill line crossed the Stour Valley. This would allow passengers to change easily between services running through Snow Hill and those using Birmingham New Street. Construction of the new station cost £4 million. A ceremony marking its completion took place on the 24th of May 1995, several months before passenger services began. The new station was named after the nearby Galton Bridge, which we'll talk about in a moment. On 24th of September 1995, Smethwick Galton Bridge officially opened. It was one of 3 new stations created as part of the Jewellery Line reopening, alongside Jewellery Quarter and the Hawthorns. The official opening was marked by special trains running over the newly restored route. The opening of Smethwick Galton Bridge effectively made Smethwick West redundant, The old station intended to close immediately, but an administrative error meant that the correct legal closure procedures had not been followed. As a result, Smethwick West technically remained open for another year. During this unusual period, it was served by just one train each direction per week. This parliamentary service operated simply to maintain the legal status of the station. Smethwick West finally closed in 1996. We have 4 side platforms here. The 2 high-level platforms, the Snow Hill lines, with Platform 1 serving trains to Worcester being 150 metres long, Platform 2 towards Birmingham city centre being 152. The low-level platforms are on the New Street line. Platform 3 is 151 metres long and takes the northbound services, with Platform 4 149 metres long, taking the Birmingham bound trains. Note that the Avanti Pendolinos being over 200 metres long and not having selected door opening, these can't stop here. A bridge links Platform 1 and 2 with a ticket office. Lifts link both high-level platforms with the bridge and also the low-level platforms. The classy conclave of clerical crusaders, that is the Department for Transportation Station Categorization Team, put this as an E category station, or the least used of staffed stations. Marks for services, 8 out of 10. Let's talk high level first. We have 4 trains an hour in each direction on West Midlands Railway. The core of the route is Kidderminster to the west to Small Heath just past Birmingham. Kidderminster is half an hour away. Stourbridge Junction is a quarter of an hour. Birmingham Snow Hill is 10 minutes. 2 trains an hour extend beyond Kidderminster to Worcester Foregate Street, 55 minutes away. Beyond Birmingham, 2 trains an hour head towards Dorridge, with Solihull 33 minutes away and Dorridge 40. One of these extends to Stratford-upon-Avon, an hour 6 away. The other 2 trains an hour past Birmingham run to Whitlock's End, 38 minutes away. One of these trains extends, likewise, to Stratford, with Henley and Arden about 55 minutes and Stratford an hour 13. Chiltern trains run 1 train from Stourbridge to London in the morning and a return in the evening. Snow Hill Station is 7 minutes away on this route. Warwick is just under 45 and Marylebone is 2 hours 10. Heading downstairs, we are on London North Western Territory, which is the same company as Midland Railways but different coloured trains and generally more electrified. There is an hourly stopping service from Wolverhampton to Birmingham New Street. Sandwell and Dudley is 2 minutes away. Wolverhampton is 17. New Street 10 minutes. Every other one of these extends to Walsall, just over 50 minutes away. We have an hourly Birmingham to Liverpool Line Street service, with Smethwick being the only stop between Wolverhampton, 12 minutes, and Birmingham, 6 minutes, with Stafford 30 minutes away, Crewe 50, and Liverpool an hour 35. Similarly, there's an hourly diesel service from Birmingham to Shrewsbury. Again, this runs fast to Wolverhampton, with Telford just over half an hour away and Shrewsbury 55. We get 16 trains on average per hour and to a wide variety of destinations. Talking about destinations, the most popular from the 24-25 figures is Birmingham New Street, followed by Birmingham Moor Street, then Birmingham Snow Hill, Wolverhampton and Kidderminster. New Street gets 129,563 journeys. Snow Hill and Moor Street get 71,142 together. To the actual passenger figures, there were 697,590 entries and exits. This averages out to 1,911 passengers a day. With 1,762 services a week, this works out at 7.6 passengers a service. However, this is an interchange station, so when we look at passengers changing trains here, we have 3,264 passengers a day, which comes up to 18.4 passengers per train. Over the last year or so, passenger numbers have levelled off, and we are well below the pre-COVID levels. Marked for onward travel, 2 out of 5. The 80 bus runs 5 times an hour each way from Birmingham to West Bromwich. The 87 runs 5 times an hour from Birmingham to Dudley. Marks for accessibility, 6 out of 10. This is a staff station. It has announcements and indicators. Being a 90s interchange, they have got the accessibility right. There are lifts from the entrance to the platforms and lifts from high level to low level. And the wayfinding in the station is good. Marks for station facilities, 4 out of 10. We have a ticket office that is staffed 7 days a week, all platforms of seating, and with canopies. There are covered seating. There are also small waiting rooms on the platforms. We have 20 bike spaces, and over the road is a car park, which the fact-filled facade of Facilties, the National Rail website, states has 82 spaces. There are toilets in the station, but nothing really in the way of retail establishments. Marked for care and character, 13 out of 20. Let's, for a change, start downstairs, and let's say I'm not a fan. Everything is very cramped. The station was built well after the railway and had to fit in with the cutting and the line. And with fast trains coming through here at speed, there are places on this platform where it is difficult to get away from the edge. In addition, some of the foliage is overgrowing around the edge of the station. The high level is more pleasant affair. You don't feel as penned in. However, the platform is still very narrow and the high walls and fences, while they do have some effort to make them more visually stimulating, still a bit oppressive. Though you can look down on the canal from up here. While the entrance and booking hall is small, it is neat, and there's a station map on the wall. The bridge over the platforms is both extremely functional, with wayfinding lines on the floor leading to both the lifts and the stairs, and a pleasant place to use. The station does look more solid and feels more established than the average cookie-cutter station from the late 20th century. The topping off of the lift shafts into towers, just one of many touches that make the station just that little bit better. Marks for nearby things, 3 out of 10. There isn't a lot of things to note around here, with Smethwick Roll Street being much nearer to the centre of Smethwick itself. But the centre of Smethwick is beyond Roll Street. We're quite near to West Midlands Albion's football ground. But the Hawthorns has its own station, and the ground is beyond that. Which brings us to Galton Bridge itself. It's a Grade 1 listed cast iron structure over the Birmingham Canal, or the new main line of the Birmingham Canal. There's an old line, and there's other canals. And I got into a bit of a rabbit hole with this, but let's not go there. It's designed by the eminent engineer, Thomas Telford. This was the highest single-span bridge in the world when it was built. Now, it's only accessible to pedestrians and cyclists, so it's an ideal trip to experience some of the true heritage from the Industrial Revolution. And of course, we have the new main line of the Birmingham Canal if you want to have a walk into Birmingham or north towards Wolverhampton. Overall, we get 39 out of 65, which is 60%. It's an accessible station with a very frequent service. But all the platforms, especially the low level, are cramped. There isn't that many reasons to visit here unless you are changing trains. Although if you can spare 10 minutes, go visit that bridge. The low-level platforms did drag my rating down, except far too tight for an interchange, but the station gets better the higher up you go. Thanks once again for watching this as I travel around the country. Please like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified of my next station review.